Welcome to Watch and Complain, where today on the episode, we're watching and complaining about Moon Knight episodes 2 and 3.
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. It was Halo.
Story of our life. I did that multiple times while editing my note thing.
Sorry to be annoying. Someone brought up that they don't like the sound of us eating. So I apologize, but I am super stuffed up. And Phil got these tacos.
Will's gone.
Stop saying his name, and I'm gonna fucking say it again. Phil got these tacos, and I feel like they're cleaning out my nose, so I gotta eat them.
Takis.
You don't even know how to say it.
It's Takis.
Who the fuck are you?
It's Takis.
To be any sort of authority on saying this
sounds
shit.
like, actually, Phil is wrong. It's not Takis. It's Tokis. I don't know. I like their cheese ones. But we were talking about Takis and eating Takis in our canyoutastit.com segment of the week. Show of the week episode. But today, Moon Knight.
This show, Moon Knight, for me, like, okay, man, clearly I know, there's a lot of fans out there of this show, and whatever you like is cool, that's great. I hate people, and I find it's like comic book nerds, and Star Wars nerds, and Marvel nerds, and DC nerds, and even, like, there's nerds of, like, even, like the fucking Kubrick nerds, and the Kurosawa nerds, and the fucking, what's his name, Herzog nerds, and the fucking Von Trier nerds. If you don't like every element of something, they're like, oh, you don't get it. You're not smart enough to get it. I know there's people out there that like this Moon Knight show, but for me, it's a failure, and at least so far.
Huh.
And what's a failure about it? And I wrote it down. I wrote it down pretty well too. So I'll just read down. I'll just read what I wrote down. The problem for me with this show is I just don't care about any of these people. It's the same thing as Hawkeye and Captain Soldier Metal Arm. I don't care about anybody. They could live or die. I don't know anything about who this character is. I don't care about the strife that they're in. I don't care who Moon Knight is. And the show isn't making me care anymore about them. So I don't. It's just showing you this Moon Knight character and not about the struggles that he goes to become Moon Knight, not about the struggles he goes through to be Moon Knight. Effectively, the only struggle that this character goes through is, I guess he broke up with his wife, but you don't really know if there's a history there, but he's back with his wife, it appears, so that's fine. I guess there's strife about between Mark and Steven.
Multiple personality disorder.
But it doesn't seem like he's suffering at all from it. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing that makes me care about the
Well, he's aware of it.
But there's nothing that makes me care about the struggle of the character. You know, like, think of Iron Man.
Because everything just came up all of a sudden.
And it just happens and just exists. Like, when you think about Iron Man struggled with the fact that it was his business, his company, that was making these things that were going to kill people. So he invented the Iron Man suit. I like that. You know what I mean? I like that character journey. There's no journey for this Moon Knight character. It's just there. And I'm like, oh, look, another action scene where we know he's going to live because we've got to get to the next episode. Like, it's just boring. Like, nothing interesting is happening, at least that I find interesting. Nothing interesting is happening. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel.
I get that view, and I am enjoying the show, but yeah, it's not... I could see people not being interested in it. It doesn't seem like a grand scope.
No.
It's like very specific to this guy, Mark. And then it goes, what's his alter ego again?
Mark and Steven.
Oh, wait, what's the other one?
Steven is the oi, bar croaky, and then the other guy's Mark.
There was Steven, and then we go to Mark, and he's like the majority of everything now. It's like, who cares about Steven?
Yep.
So it's almost like, I know it's not true, but it's almost like the director's like, we give up on Steven.
Yep, his part is done. Let's just, because there's no kind of internal struggle for either of these characters. They just like, oh, don't want to be Mark now? Okay, we'll have Steven. Oh, we're tired of Mark for a bit. Or, sorry, tired of Steven now, be Mark. Like
It doesn't make us care about that divide.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that to me that's why, again, WandaVision was the superior of all these so far, is it genuinely made you care about the strife of Wanda and Vision. With Loki, I know you and I have different feelings about Loki, but Loki, I didn't care about Loki anymore from the start to the end of it. Captain Soldier Metal Arm, I didn't care about either of the guys going into it. I sure as hell didn't care by the end of it. And with Hawkeye, I gave a shit about Hawkeye and liked him even less by the end of the show. But there's nothing that's driving me to care about this character, which is totally different than the other show we're watching that we're going to talk about afterwards, called Halo, which is significantly superior to Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Moon Knight just feels
Which I felt was going to be the other way around.
Absolutely. I didn't think I'd care much about Moon Knight, but I thought I would give a shit about Halo. But with Moon Knight, it feels like another cog in the Marvel wheel. And I hate that because I want
an excuse to have a series.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I want one of them to just pop out and be so good that you're like, God damn, I did not expect X to be as good as it was, and it was because it's just a bore, man. It has nothing worth returning to the show for. Like, I could stop now. I could stop in episode 8, episode 10, episode 1. Don't care. Like, I'm not involved at all.
And you probably wouldn't miss anything.
Nope.
I don't know how this is going to connect.
The universe. Yeah.
We might have a connection later, but I don't I know they're diving deeper into magic for everything.
That I think is another thing that turns me off is I don't give a like with the original Avengers. There's really 3 that I'm like, okay, these guys are cool. Well, I guess arguably 4 where there's no magic or anything, like Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, and Black Widow. There's no magic. There's no mystery. They're just one is a billionaire philanthropist playboy dickhead. The other one is a science experiment. The other one is a trained from fucking early teens to be an assassin, and the other one's a genius scientist. Like, no magic or mystery or blah blah blah. It's when, for me, the magic and mystery and nonsense gets into it, I'm like, I'm okay with stories like that, but when you try to ground it,
but Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange is fun, and
because they developed a really good story for it.
But I think Multiverse of Madness is going to be fun because of the director they have doing it. A lot of people's like, Sam Raimi, and that's the only reason you care about it. You should care about it with Sam Raimi because Sam Raimi has a track record of delivering shit that you're initially disinterested and you become 100% interested. And I'm not just talking about like his Spider-Man stuff and his Evil Dead stuff, but watch that weird Western he made. I think The Quick and the Dead, or Be Quick or Be Dead. He made an amazing movie called A Simple Plan. He did Drag Me to Hell. He did that great movie with Genevieve Ribisi and Keanu Reeves and Katie Holmes. Like, The Gift, it's called. He is a very talented director, and he has a great eye for kind of craziness. And that's what I think he's going to bring to Multiverse of Madness. That is why I want to watch it. Doctor Strange, I've seen that first movie. I don't even think I completed the first movie because I zero fucking interest. Don't care about the character. Don't care about the situation. What he went through in Spider-Man, really the only reason in Spider-Man that I was interested was I think Andrew Garfield and Tom Maguire and Tom Holland, great guys to watch. Fun guys to watch. But the whole magic part of it, the magic part of Loki, the magic part of this, and it's not even magic. It's like history and ancient history and the gods, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. And I'm sure there's an audience for it. I'm not saying that it's bad completely. For me, it's just not it's not my bag of talkies.
What are any redeeming qualities to this show?
Poe Dameron, or Oscar Isaac. I know, of course, his name is Oscar Isaac. Call him Poe Dameron. Oscar Isaac is a fun actor to watch. I will say that I enjoy watching
when
Oscar
he's
Isaac.
Not,
the Steven thing. And I know he's doing the accent to be obnoxious, right? And he wonderfully succeeds at it. He is wonderful at it. The CG is pretty good. The chorus or Krangkor, or whatever the fuck his name is, the bird thing where his head floats. He looks great.
I think anything involving the as some of the CG looks amazing. Some of the CG looks god awful.
Yep.
And that's unfortunate.
I feel like, and do you ever notice that the CG that looks like shit feels like a late add-on? You know what I mean? Like when they're fighting, like fight scenes, you're like, oh, maybe we should have them do this in a fight scene. Oh, fuck, we got 2 weeks.
Have them jump from one building to the other.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And it looks
doesn't-
like shit.
How does it seems like such a simple thing? Like,
But I think it's because it's tacked on when they got like 48 hours to animate it. So they're like, oh, fuck, we got to go super fast and we got to
or
cut
just
corners.
we don't want to put the money into making it look better when it's just like a half a
Quick-
second.
yep, half
yeah.
a second scene. And again, it shows that it's really money driven.
But then you see like the museum thing, or like going down the dark hallways and something appears. Like that stuff's great.
Because I feel like that's what they put in the story. Like that's what the writer and the director and the actors are like, okay, here's where this goes.
Spend money on the impact.
Yeah, spend money on Krokor or Crankor, whatever the fuck his name is, and how his head looks and shit like that. That looks good because they were like, okay,
Harrow.
Harrow is Ethan Hawke's
Conchu.
guy. Concho, that's what it is. He looks really cool. I don't care about it. And I feel like they're trying to build this world by saying, oh, I was Concho's avatar and blah, 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 and in the history of blah, and this happened to blah. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like all the shit that's happening, I don't care about.
I'm still saying that gold statue guy has something to do with something. I always thought he was like
Oh, yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
Khonshu, just like a way for him to view through things, and like
Maybe
the
somebody
goldfish.
Maybe he's like the guy on Top's avatar type of thing. You know what I mean? But who knows?
It could be another avatar that because there are supposedly during that scene where they brought in all the avatars, there was some missing.
Oh, really? Okay.
So maybe it was the statue dude and maybe the goldfish,
He could have just
which would be
floated
funny
in,
as fuck.
just flop it into the floor.
Just to me, I want to watch more just for the CG, just to see the god stuff, just to see where that's going. But I don't care for. I wish Steven wasn't such a nerd in terms of like 90s or 80s nerd.
I get why they've made him like that. I hate it.
He could have just been a normal kid. Like,
But then he wouldn't stick in your head. Like, you've got to see the significant difference between Mark and Steven, right? Like, it's got to
Yeah.
be so fucking obvious. And I'm willing to bet that Oscar Isaac said, okay, I can do like the Scottish accent, I can do whatever. And they're like, all right, what's going to stick in your brain and be like nails on a fucking chalkboard every time Steven's talking? Let's do this Eddie Redmayne, fucking Rebel Wilson, annoying, oi, lady gators, that fucking thing.
let's find out really
Obnoxious.
obvious British accent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they did it. And he pulls it off because Oscar Isaac is a fucking great actor. You know, like, don't limit him to like Poe Dameron and stuff like this. Watch him in fucking like the Coen Brothers stuff, and watch him in stuff like Annihilation, where he's a really good actor, man. So I watched this show because you forced me to, but
Force-fed.
I would not be watching it otherwise.
So next week we're gonna watch the next episode,
Yay.
episode 4, and maybe 5 if we miss another week.
Yay! Oh yeah, and it was my fault that we missed this week because I was very sick.
Who cares? People will catch up.
I want to apologize. Especially, I want to apologize to that person that complained that I eat too much. Not that I eat too much, but they should complain about that too.
They should complain to me about that. Watchandcomplain.com. Go check out Can You Taste It, where we tried those.
They're called
CanYouTasteIt.com.
Talkies. We're eating
Talkies.
talking movies from the 1930s.
Hey, Talkies, yeah.
Give me some of that razzmatazz.
Watchingcomplain.com. Bye.
Bye, everybody.